Chapter 2 Animal Language. It happened one day that the doctor was sitting in his kitchen talking with the cat food man who had come to see him with a stomach ache. "Why don't you give up being a people's doctor and be an animal doctor?" asked the cat food man. The parrot Polynesia was sitting in the window. She was looking out at the rain, singing a sailor song. Then she stopped and started to listen. "You see, doctor," the cat food man went on, "you know all about animals, much more than what these here vets do. That book you wrote about cats, why, it's wonderful. You might have been a cat yourself. You know the way they think. And listen, you can make a lot of money doctoring animals. Do you know that? You see, I'd send the old women who had sick cats or dogs to you." "Do they get sick often?" asked the good doctor. "All the time," answered the cat food man, "because the old women always give 'em too much to eat. And look, all the farmers round about who had lame horses and weak lambs, they'd come. Be an animal doctor." When the cat food man had gone, the parrot flew off the window onto the doctor's table and said, "That man's got sense. That's what you ought to do. Be an animal doctor. Give the silly people up. They haven't brains enough to see you're the best doctor in the world. Take care of animals instead. They'll soon find it out. Be an animal doctor." "Oh, there are plenty of animal doctors," said John Dolittle, putting the flower pots outside on the window sill to get the rain. "Yes, there are plenty," said Polynesia, "but none of them are any good at all. Now listen, doctor, and I'll tell you something. Did you know that animals can talk?" "I knew that parrots can talk," said the doctor. "Oh, we parrots can talk in two languages, people's language and birds' language," said Polynesia proudly. "If I say, 'Polly wants a cracker,' you understand me. But hear this: 'Ka-ka, oi, Fifi!'" "Good gracious!" cried the doctor. "What does that mean?" "That means, 'Is the porridge hot yet?' in bird language." "My, you don't say," said the doctor. "You never talked that way to me before." "You wouldn't have understood me if I had," said Polynesia. "Tell me some more," said the doctor. All excited, he rushed over to the dresser drawer, came back with a writing book and a pencil. "Now don't go too fast. I'll write it down. This is interesting, very interesting, something quite new. Give me the birds' ABCs first. Slowly now." So that was the way Doctor came to know the animals had a language of their own and could talk to one another. And that afternoon, while it was raining, Polynesia sat on the kitchen table giving him bird words to put down in the book. At tea time, when the dog Jip came in, the parrot said to the doctor, "See, he's talking to you." "Looks to me as though he were scratching his ear," said the doctor. "But animals don't always speak with their mouths," said the parrot in a high voice, raising her eyebrows. "They talk with their ears, with their feet, with their tails, with everything. Sometimes they don't want to make a noise. Do you see now the way he's twitching up one side of his nose?" "What's that mean?" asked the doctor. "That means, can't you see that it has stopped raining?" Polynesia answered. "He is asking you a question. Dogs nearly always use their noses for asking questions." After a while, with the parrot's help, the doctor got to learn the language of the animals so well that he could talk to them himself and understand everything they said. Then he decided to give up being a people's doctor. As soon as the cat food man had told everyone that John Dolittle was going to be an animal doctor, old ladies began to bring him their pet pugs and poodles who had eaten too much cake. Farmers came many miles to show him sick cows and sheep. One day a plow horse was brought to him. The poor thing was terribly glad to find a man who could talk in horse language. "You know, doctor," said the horse, "that vet over the hill knows nothing at all. He has been treating me 6 weeks now for bad knees. What I need is glasses, same as people. But that vet over the hill never even looked at my eyes. He kept on giving me big pills. I tried to tell him, but he couldn't understand a word of horse language. What I need is glasses." Of course," said the doctor. "I'll get you some at once." "I would like a pair like yours," said the horse, "only green. They'll keep the sun out of my eyes while I'm plowing the 50-acre field." "Certainly," said the doctor. "Green ones you shall have. I'll have them for you next week. Come in again Tuesday." "Good morning." Then John Dolittle got a fine big pair of green glasses, and the plow horse stopped going blind in one eye and could see as well as ever. And soon it became a common sight to see farm animals wearing glasses in the country around Puddleby. So it was with all the other animals that were brought to the doctor. As soon as they found out that he could talk their language, they told him where the pain was and how they felt, and of course it was easy for him to cure them. Now all these animals went back and told their brothers and friends about the good doctor with the big garden, and whenever any creatures got sick, they came at once to his house, so that his big garden was nearly always crowded with animals trying to get in to see him. Horses and cows and dogs came, and even little things of the fields came, like harvest mice and badgers and bats. There were so many that came that he had to have special doors made for the different kinds. He wrote horses over the front door, cows over the side door, and sheep on the kitchen door. Each kind of animal had a separate door. Even the mice had a tiny tunnel into the cellar where they waited in rows for the doctor to see them. So, in a few years' time, every living thing for miles and miles knew about John Dolittle, M.D., and the birds who flew to other countries in the winter told the animals in faraway lands of the wonderful doctor of Puddleby on the Marsh. They told how he understood their talk and could help them in their troubles. In this way, he became famous among the animals all over the world, and he was happy and liked his life very much. One afternoon, the doctor was busy writing in a book. Polynesia sat in the window, as she nearly always did, looking out at the leaves blowing about in the garden. Then she laughed out loud. "What is it, Polynesia?" asked the doctor, looking up from his book. "I was just thinking," said the parrot, and she went on looking at the leaves. "What were you thinking?" "I was thinking about people," said Polynesia. "People think they're so wonderful. The world has been going on now for thousands of years, hasn't it? And the only thing in the animal language that people have learned to understand is that when a dog wags his tail, he means, 'I'm glad.' It's funny, isn't it? You are the very first man to talk like us." "Wise old bird," said the doctor. "How old are you really? I know that parrots and elephants sometimes live to be very, very old." "I can never be quite sure of my age," said Polynesia. "I lost track when I made the long trip from Africa. It's either 183 or 182. Either way, I'm still quite young, you know.